doing it for the first time, and I hope we can learn ourselves and do better next time. So
Right.
here, what do you say?
Okay. So let me welcome all the participants. You know, on March 13th, which was a Friday, I had my lecture at IIT at 8 o'clock. But I happened to see my email in my IIT Delhi email account around 11 o'clock on March 12th. And there was an email saying that no classes will be held from March 13th onwards. And around the same time in JNU also we decided that we will suspend all the academic activities. And we asked all the students to leave the university and go back to their homes around March 19th. And the same thing happened across the country in almost all the 900 universities. The educational institutes have asked their students to go back. And then we started learning more about the coronavirus. And we started hearing new terminology such as social distancing, lockdowns, and so on. And then the coronavirus was spreading, the death rate was going up. So all of us, we were in a kind of difficult situation. But this is when most of the educational institutes have started looking at the possibility of keeping in touch with these students so that our academic programs can be continued. Similarly, UGC and MHRD also came up with various suggestions on how we can use some of the digital resources that are available to engage our students fruitfully. But as teachers and as academic administrators, we had two challenges. One, how to connect even the last student using the internet and provide them the digital resources. That was our first challenge. And the second challenge is, even if you are able to connect these students, how can we conduct the evaluations? It could be the mid-semester evaluation, it could be sessional exams, and then finally the end semester exam, so that the academic session can be meaningfully concluded because we have two types of students. The terminal students will be passing out in July, and then the continuing students. And then we have three kinds of students. Those students who attend only the lectures, who do not have any experimental component, and those students who have lectures as well as the experimental components, and then we have the research scholars. So how can we manage our academic programs so that there is no discontinuity in the learning teaching process about which we are all worried? So that is when I think many teachers across the country, they have risen to the occasion. They started looking at different digital platforms that are available, which can be used to connect with these students. But then the internet connectivity. You will be surprised to know that more than 500 million smartphone users are there in India. And in higher educational institutes, we have about 3.4 crore students, which amounts to about 34 million students. So it is, it is quite possible that almost every student has a smartphone. But not every student may have a 4G connection. Many of the students may have a 2G connection. So when we have such wide spread of the network availability to the students, how can we use the digital platforms to reach out to them? So that is one of the major challenges for us. Of course, if you want to connect to a student using a 2G cellular network, a real-time video lecture is going to be very difficult because the downloading speeds will be extremely slow. But even a 2G connection smartphone user can easily watch a low-quality YouTube lecture. A 2G smartphone user can, at a leisure time, download a video or download a PDF file and then study at their own leisure. Therefore, we need to use different kinds of platforms. One is, for example, a system like Zoom, where you have a real-time streaming of the video, which will be very difficult for every student to follow. But then you also have other options such as Moodle, where you can post your PDF files, You can even post your video files there, low quality video files, so that students can download. A 2G smartphone user can actually participate in a real-time audio dialogue because audio files are typically very, very small as compared to the video files. Now, when it comes to the evaluation of the students, many people say that let us use online evaluation to grade these students. But then this term online is used in a very, very loose way. We need to be very clear about what is this online evaluation. There are only three ways in which you can test the student, evaluate the student using online means. One is a web-based test, such as the GRE or TOEFL exams are conducted. And we don't have such facilities for a real-time proctored web-based exam. There is no way we can conduct. The other way of conducting the exam is what the NTA does, the National Testing Agency does, or what the IITs do for their online exam. This is actually not an online exam, it is a computer-based exam. The question papers are taken to a center, which is typically an engineering college in a town, and in their computer lab in a server, which is configured for this exam, you put these questions, and then there is a communication between the client and server, the questions and answers, they go back and forth, and the server records the whole exam. But then that kind of exam requires the students to reach an examination center. So therefore, that is also going to be out of our scope, because we need to still maintain social distancing and the traveling is not permitted as of now. So the only third way of conducting an online exam is either to set a question paper in such a way that the question paper can be emailed, or it can be sent through a Moodle or through WhatsApp, and the student reads the question paper, uses different resources, prepares the answers, and then sends it back to the teacher. So the third mode is the only possibility for us, considering the fact that most of the students are spread across the country and they do not have wide bandwidth intercellular networks available to them. So in other words, the evaluation has to be in open book format, because there is no proctored invigilation, and the student is left to themselves to write this exam. So in any case, whether we are going to conduct an online exam or we wait for the students to come back after the lockdown period is over, we give them some lectures and then conduct a physical exam. These are issues that, well, there is a plane flying above me, so I'm just waiting for a few seconds. But these are issues that every university has to work out for themselves, because there cannot be a solution which fits everyone. Every university has to work out their own appropriate solution. But the bottom line is to make sure that the students seamlessly progress from the current academic session to the next academic session. So in that context, we felt that it is important to inform the teachers what kind of digital platforms are available, because there is a lot of confusion, what platforms to use. There is a lot of lack of awareness about even simple systems such as Moodle, which is a openware software which is available, and most universities can very easily use the Moodle system. So we have asked Shandar Ahmad and his team to put together some lectures so that in simple language, all of you can be informed about what are the possibilities, what digital platforms are used, so that you can pick up depending on your situation, depending on what kind of students you have, where they are placed across the country now. You can pick up one of these platforms and continue with your teaching learning processes. We hope that today and tomorrow there will be a lot of information by faculty members who are regularly using these digital platforms. There will be lectures, and perhaps there will also be questions and answers to clarify some of your doubts. So I congratulate our team for putting together this program. And also I would like to congratulate and appreciate all of you for joining in this webinar. These are all difficult times. But in spite of that, just as the people who are working in the essential services are putting extra efforts to make sure that all of our lives are comfortable, as teachers, it is also our responsibility to make sure that our students will not have anxiety, will not be filled with worrisome thoughts in their minds. And as their mentors, it is our responsibility to keep in touch with them. And I hope that all of you will immensely benefit by participating in this webinar. With those brief comments, I would like to once again welcome all of you to this 2 days webinar. Shandar, I'm handing over to you.
Thank you very much, sir, for inspiring words, and they really set the tone for a wonderful workshop. And I hope we can do justice with your the expectations of the participants and yourself. So I hand over this now to the convener, Dr. Sonu Seni, who will give a brief about what we expect in this workshop, and after that, I'll introduce my lecture. I'll present my own lecture. So,
thank you very much, Professor Shandar.